Well, hello. My name is Daddy-O, and I do some Ubering and a little bit of YouTube from time to time. And today, I'm going to tell you something that might help you if you're an Uber driver. This could help you kind of stay ahead of everybody. I'm going to teach you a little trick that I've developed over the years that I use. So hang with me today. If you're new here, stay to the end of the video because some of the questions I get on here are from people that are not watching the entire video. I'm going to try to help you with something today. So if you're an Uber driver, you may want to hang on to this because I'm going to talk about something that I'm sure no one else has talked about before, or I haven't found it. All right, here we go. There's two apps that you use when you're an Uber driver. All right, there's two apps that I have used over the years to help me stay ahead of everybody else that's out Ubering in my area. And here's what you do. You use the Uber driver app, of course, and you use the rider app. At the same time, you can use them on the phone at the same time, all right? What the Uber rider app helps you do is know where the other drivers are basically in your area. Now, if they're on a run, it's not going to show them on the map. If you've never brought up the rider app before, what it does is when someone's requesting a ride on Uber, they bring up the app, of course, to select where they're at, where they want to go to, all right? When they do that, it's going to show them if they select Uber X. It's going to show them all the Uber X's in their area, all right? If they select comfort, it's going to show them the comforts that are available in their area, how many are available. You can use the same method, all right? That lets you know where other guys are sitting, all right? I've told you before on this channel, I try to focus on a concentrated area. I work a certain zone. I know by using the rider app when other drivers are in my area, all right? I know where they're sitting. I know where they're positioning. I know where they're working. It shows me if I see there's 4 Ubers at a certain area and I look back a little while later and there's only one, those guys that were sitting in that area, they got runs out of that area. Or you see what I mean? You can know once you've learned to use the rider app how to use it. I used it today. In fact, I was able to position myself ahead of another couple vehicles that were sitting a quarter mile that way. I got myself in between them and the high-end hotels that I try to work. All right, that gives me a better chance. Doesn't guarantee you're going to get the run, but by being closer than they are to what you're wanting to get runs out of, you can stay ahead of them. You can play the game a little bit smarter than some of the other drivers might be playing it. I've used this system for years. I've talked about it only in a couple of videos before about using the two apps at the same time. I made a video about it before. Someone questioned me, how can I do that on my phone? Well, you can run both apps. I have the rider app right now running on this phone that I'm on. All right. I'm not looking at it right now because I'm talking to you. But as soon as I get done with this video and I get ready to go back and sign on to Uber, then I'm going to look at that app first and see where the other guys, if there are any here. If there's none here, I'm just going to sign on and sit where I'm at. All right. But if there are other drivers out here, I'm going to try to position myself in between them and the area that I'm wanting to get runs out of. Does that make sense to you? If that makes sense to you, leave me a comment down below. Some people that might not make sense to, but it works, all right? That's how I'm able to stay and get, I know it this way. There's a lot of local people that are going to be riding, but I know right over here where I'm sitting right now, I'm positioned as close as I can get to the resorts, hotels, all right? I'm wanting to catch runs out of there right now, all right? I know it's midday, still morning time a little bit, but it's at the point they're going to want to get out of there and go to some restaurants, to go some places. So you have to think a little bit when you're doing Uber. Focus on a concentrated area. I've told you this before. By focusing on a concentrated area, you know you can keep up on what's going on. Now, if I look on the app in a little while and I see 9 Ubers out here, something's going on. That lets me know that what they have done is those guys have brought people over from the airport for conferences. There's some conference stuff going on right now. Weddings were last weekend. See, you got to stay up on this stuff. I know how many weddings are happening in my area pretty much all the time. I pick up a few. I ask questions. We talk. I've told you that before. You got to talk to your people. I dig in for information. You're here for a conference? What conference are you here for? Oh, I've heard of that conference. I keep track of what's going on. When are you guys leaving? I keep track of it. I play the games. I've told you about playing games before. Be smart out here, all right? Stay ahead of the other drivers, though, by positioning yourself in better places. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the run. Now, if they're a gold or they're a diamond, chances are they're going to get the run. All right, they're going to feed those guys, and you can do that. If you want to be a gold or diamond, you're going to get the opportunity to get more runs than the average driver does. All right. The only problem with that is being a gold and diamond, I've told you before, is you've got to work for that. To maintain it. You got to do runs that you don't want to do, things that you don't want to do. I don't play that game. All right. I try to play the smarter game if I can. Stay ahead of everybody else. Stay out of their way. They're all over here. I'm going over there. If they're all over there, I'm going over here. I'm trying to position myself out of them so that if any runs pop up out of that area, I'm more apt to go get it. I'm closer than they are. Odds are I'll get it unless they're a gold or a diamond. They're going to get higher preferences, but they need to do that. All right, to keep that, you go ahead. You go ahead, do that. You diamond, you gold. You go ahead and you get that person. All right, I'll get the next one. All right, I ain't worried about it. You don't get wrapped up in the acceptance thing. And I've done videos on that. I'm not getting into the acceptance thing again today. Don't worry about all that unless you want to be a gold or a diamond. If you're working for the gold or diamond, do it. But go get your rental car to do it. Don't rag out your personal cars doing gold and diamond. I've got videos talking about that stuff. But anyway, position yourself. Use 2 apps. That's the key here today. You want to use 2 apps. You want to use the Rider app when you're doing Uber to watch what's going on in your area. Pay attention. You start getting where you're doing that every day, you'll start seeing things that will trigger little things in your head to go, ooh, okay, I see what he's talking about. All right. Use the Rider app. Use the Driver app as always, of course. But that Rider app is the one that's going to really help you make money to position yourself out of the way of everybody else. If all of a sudden you turn on the Rider app and you see you got Ubers all around you, get out of there. Go. You're not going to get nothing while they're all around you. All right. Flee the scene. Go do something for a while. Kick back for a half an hour. See what the board looks like in a half an hour. That's the game I play. And it works. Okay. You can make more money by picking and choosing your rides. I've told you this before, but watch that Rider app, because that's going to let you know what's going on in your area, how many Ubers are out there in your area. If you see them coming and going, they're popping on, popping off, they're getting rides, be aware that you might want to get on the edge. See where what runs are popping up for those guys that they're taking, that they're getting. All right? You think while you're doing Uber. It's not just a job where you come out and they go, oh, okay, I'll go there. No, think ahead, plan ahead, play ahead. Be prepared for just about any damn thing that pops up, but don't chase the surges. Don't chase those because they don't work always. You get locked into surges. I've done videos on this before. You can get locked into a surge. In other words, you're sitting here on a $4 surge. Everyone else around you might not be on that surge, but as long as you're saying, oh, I'll take that, and you're not getting the runs, and you continuously saying, I'll take that, you're locked into a surge. Get out of that surge. Go ahead and sign off, sign back on, let that surge go away for you, because you're apparently the only one that's on that surge. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. 2 apps, though. 2 apps will help you. If you stayed on this long, subscribe, ring the bell, do the thumbs up, buy Daddy-O a cup of coffee. I don't talk about that stuff all the time because that's not important to me. It helps the channel, but to me, I got information, and I just want to share it, all right? If you use it, you use it. If you don't, like I've always said, the things I talk about on here are what works for me, all right? You guys have a good afternoon, good evening. Daddy-o out. It's a bright one down here today. I might have to put my sunglasses on here in a second because it's killing me. Have a good one, guys. Daddy-o out.